It's crunch time, and on time, the world is healing. Morning, everyone.
Kepler's here too.
Kepler's here. He actually just sat down.
Just finished breakfast.
Just finished breakfast. Good morning and welcome to Thursday. I tweaked a few things. I tweaked a few things with the settings to get them closer to the way things were. Like when we lived at the other place, because we had changed a bunch of stuff
For downstairs.
And even on Tuesday, I hadn't actually changed all the settings back. It wasn't until after I was like, ooh. And one of the things that we did is we brought, so I had some of our bookcases just sitting on the floor in my office. And we were like, well, we know that we want them to go back here. We don't have a chance to mount them yet because we got to do some other stuff. But Mal and I moved them over here, and then I was like, we could like dress the set. And it's like, well, what goes there? And the only thing I could come up with was my dad's rock. Because I really liked the rock that my dad made. And I was like, oh yeah, we get the breakfast stream pillows. We could do that. So they're not even really like centered. Are we not centered or are they not centered?
I don't know.
I can't tell. It's fine. It is a good rock. I love having that. I love having, like, my dad has continued to make incredible art, and at this point is no longer even making things, on rocks. He's moved on to canvases and stuff. But that's one of the earliest things he made, and I cherish it, and I'm glad that it can have a place to show itself off. Anyway. How is everyone doing this morning? We had a very busy day yesterday.
We did.
Like a wildly busy day. And when the alarm went off this morning, I was like, I can't get out of bed, man. Like, I am so exhausted. But that's kind of how you feel when you wake up no matter what. Because if you get up and moving, then in like 20 minutes you're like, all right. Unless you're Mal. Mr. Gameboy said we should just have a zoomed in shot of the rock. We'll just put a JPEG of it like up here. Yeah, we were back in Myrtle Beach yesterday. And there was just so much that we did. There was a lot of stuff that happened. So we'll talk about that this morning a little bit. And yesterday's vlog is going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it. We'll talk about that also. So, let's read some alerts. We got 46 months from Satsy, 16 months from Genesis, 500 bits from Kaylin Lux. It says, come on, Flaming Bird. Are we still?
I do like that one.
If folks weren't here on Tuesday, they will be a little confused. The new default 500-bit alert for Breakfast Stream is bird. It calls upon a random bird to fly across the screen. So
no need for a keyword.
Yeah. Just 500 to 999 during Breakfast Stream is bird. So if you love birds, and who doesn't love a bird?
Give me the bird.
The elegance, the grace, the motionless shuffling. It's just, that's my favorite part of birds.
Give me the bird.
Look at the bird fly.
And I think Chaz. So obviously Chaz did this with his magic dark wizard powers.
Give me the bird.
Yeah, people with ornithopia. Some folks might be asking, if you weren't here Tuesday, how many? 62 or more. I don't know. I mentioned to Chaz about something, so like it could slowly creep up to 63 or 64. Like, who knows? Because like, how many birds are there in the world? I think it could be more than 62. I think we're up to like 70 birds in the world. There's a lot.
Give me the bird.
We've had these pillows for a while, but we didn't really have anywhere to put them. So at least briefly they can exist here. These are in the shop, by the way. They have the logo on one side, and then the other side is either like tea or coffee. So
give me the bird.
If you like pillows, You can get some pillows. We got 46 months from Anorak. 500 bits from Radio Dread says, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's... Oh, it is a bird. All right, then. So you want
Steven,
to...
watch how the puffin's getting in your hair.
Give me the bird.
You're welcome for that. 39 months from Spark Strike 13. Anorak gifted a sub to
Give me
Tater
the
Z
bird.
Live. 32 months from Mvors. 500 bits from Vinny G Play says, apparently missed a lot of bird on Tuesday. Yeah, so that was the big thing, and the reason that we did this is because, we had added Nature Cam when we were downstairs, and that was always intended to be temporary because we didn't intend to do Breakfast Stream downstairs forever. And a lot of people loved it, and I get it, and I
Give
felt
me the
bad, so
bird.
I told Chaz, I was like, maybe we can add some sort of bird alert. And it turned into a little bird
Give me
parade.
the bird.
I really like the bird parade.
It reminds me of that video with the cats.
Oh, the Neko March?
Wait,
Yeah.
that's not the... No, it is. For a minute, I thought it was like, am I singing something from Yoshi's Island? But no. There's a line there that's very easy to cross, but no, that's that was right. We get 300 bits from Satsy, who says, so after Tuesday, where the UK was melting, and I imagine half of Europe, today is a low 60-degree Fahrenheit
Wow.
equivalent.
That is a change.
A good 20 degrees lower and back to the UK's average. Here's hoping the weather stops clowning around after this. And then in parenthesis, it won't.
Give me the bird.
I'm glad things are getting a little bit cooler, although again, for how long? Because we're the same way. We'll have massively hot days, and then it will dip.
It's a little bit of the opposite, though, because 60s is more of their average. And our average right now is 90s.
Yeah, but it does get cooler some days.
Give me the bird.
Is my point. I mean, it's true though. Like in general, it hot.
What is our weather?
Hot.
Hot. 90s.
The next 10 days, our high is the mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Like 95 degrees is our high every day for the next 10 days. It's hot. But again, we talked about it on Tuesday at length. Like, one of the difficulties is that folks in the
Give me
UK
the
typically don't have
bird.
AC, which makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. We have 500 bits from Item Crafting Live. Thank you all for the interview Good Vibes on Tuesday. I have a second round interview today. Can I get another set of vibes and a bird for good luck? Absolutely. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
And, go into it with confidence because you were asked to come back for a second
Yeah.
interview. So, like, that's big. You know, there's never, like, a guarantee of, like, oh, you're definitely in. But, like, you have to go into it with confidence just knowing they're like, oh, crap, I was called in for another one. They liked me enough to see me again. So that should make you feel good. We got 45 months from Renee. 24 months from Chill Badger. That's a clap. Congrats on the two. 27 months from Solilium. 39 months from Shy. 500 bits from Full Metal Grizz, who says, give me the crunch. Also, hi, Stephen and Mount Kepi. How are y'all doing? Very good.
Yeah.
Kepi,
how you doing?
I feel happy. I feel happy, and I think that's a good feeling to have. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still exhausted because those aren't mutually exclusive feelings, but I feel good. Like, my soul is good. I had a good day yesterday.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You know, occasionally you get days where you're like, oh man, that was just a really good
Give me the bird.
experience. Anyway. It's funny. Jacebook says, did you happen to see John play a copy of Deal or No Deal for Nintendo DS? I heard about it.
Yeah.
But related to that, yesterday, since we were in Myrtle Beach, we brought home stuff. And my parents' living room is still full of boxes and stuff. And there was one box, and my mom was like, there's a box over there, like a big box you could bring. And I was like, okay. So I reach over and grab it, and she's like, what's in it? And then when I open it, it is a box full
Copies.
of copies of Deal or No Deal for the Nintendo DS. And I was like, oh, this is where those are. It was great. It was great. Anyway. Thank you all for Hi P Train.
Train's leaving.
Goodbye, Train. Mallory gets the other half of her face back.
Oh, good.
Good. 300 bits from One King of the Nerds. Hey all, Mods and Steven. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has leaked early, so if you haven't prepared now, you have a chance to block terms, etc. Also, do you know by chance if Emil has prepared his block list on social media? I feel strongly that Emil has got it under control. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he does anything. But he is aware of how to do all that stuff, and he is very aware that Xenoblade 3 is coming out. So like, he good. Yeah, Brandon says Emil has been internet man long time. It's true. It's true. So I'm sure that he'll be fine. I kind of wonder if Emil will get. Well, no, Nintendo doesn't do early copies anymore. For a minute I was like, I wonder if Emil will get a copy of Xenoblade 3 early. But probably not. He'll probably get it the same day everyone else does. Nintendo does have a tendency to send out copies of games to folks, either for review or sometimes just because they really like them. Mm-hmm. Emil tends to fall into the latter camp because Emil doesn't really review games, but I know for a fact over the years that he's gotten things from Nintendo, and I was like, that's nice. So Nintendo might send him a copy of Xenoblade 3. I'm not sure. I don't know. Speaking of games that Nintendo sends, I better announce this now because I know I'm going to forget. Tomorrow's going to be speaking of tomorrow's going to be a wild day, so I'm going to mention this right now before I forget. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. or like 7:40 p.m. We're going to be returning to Pokemon. I got a few more things I need to set up to make that happen, but from what I can tell, there's no reason we can't get back to it. So we're going to be playing Pokemon tomorrow night. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. However, that won't be the only stream tomorrow. We are going to be doing, I say we, it's royal we, it's just going to be me. I am going to be doing a stream tomorrow afternoon. And that is because Nintendo has, well, I can't say they've sent it yet, but they are sending a copy of Live Alive, which, if you're not familiar with Live Alive, it is a Super Famicom game from a long time ago that we never got, ever got in the US. I mean, certainly a million years ago they did like a fan translation or whatever, but like never officially released here. Very much like a kind of like a Mother 3 situation where it's a kind of a cult classic RPG, and we never got it. And this is like the first official release of it in the US. Very, very cool. So Nintendo sent over a copy, or they will. So tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be playing that. And the way that the Thomas was explaining this, the way that the game is set up, because I'm not super familiar with it, I've never played it. It's an RPG, but it's like you're playing through like 8 different storylines for different characters. And because of that, those storylines aren't like super, super long. Like they add up together to like be like a game length. But because of that, we should be able to apparently get through like one of the storylines at least. So if you tune in tomorrow afternoon for the stream, you will get like a full experience. Like you will actually be able to see some of that, but it also won't like spoil everything because you could still get the game and play through the rest of the game. So yeah, it should be a very cool experience. So that's happening sometime tomorrow afternoon. I cannot put a time on that. because tomorrow is when Nintendo is sending the game, and the time at which they have sent games in the past has varied. So I just have to be very vague and be like, tomorrow afternoon. You know, probably I would suspect like 2 p.m. Eastern. I would really hope that I have the copy of the game by then. Yeah. So. Yeah, Brand says, I imagine many content creators don't keep you. Yeah, I have many friends who do this, and I'm very aware of that fact. I try to, but you know, sometimes things are outside of my control. So this is one of those things where it is. So, yeah. But sometime tomorrow afternoon, just keep an eye out. I'll just says, what if they send it at 8 p.m.? Then I'm playing it Saturday. They usually don't send it that late. They usually send it. Sometimes they've sent games like in the morning, like at somewhere between 9 and 10 a.m. Sometimes they've sent things around like 1 p.m. So I'm hoping that by like 2 I should have it and I can get started and we can play some. Anyway, Jam, yes. Stray is a possibility down the line. I've seen some stuff come out about Stray, and it looks really fantastic. It also looks like they nailed the cat, like the idea of like the movement of a cat and playing a game like as a cat. It looks like they did a really amazing job. So I want to try that at some point too, but baby steps. The fact that I'm doing 2 streams tomorrow is actually really wild. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to get started on Live early enough to give myself a little window where I can end Live Alive,
have dinner,
and like have dinner, and then do Pokemon. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. We got 19 months from Real Moist Pony, 15 months from Caden Ren Bobita. Tricky Anthe gifted a tier 2 sub to Sugar Comatose. 3 months from Laura Sunflora. Tricky Anthe also gifted another tier 2 sub to Ampersand Queen. I just scroll to see what that word was going to be. Mark from Vermont gifted a sub to Jacebook. We got 7 months from L Strike X. 20 months from Yoshinobu. 500 bits from Cobalt says, oh no, there's a bird in the house. How did it get in the house? Oh no, look at the bird. Fortunately, that's only ever happened to us once.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah. Fortunately.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed about this house, though, is it feels like bugs get in if the door is open. Like, real easy. Like, the door will be open for like a second, and then I'll be like, there's a mosquito in here, or there's a gnat in here. Like, how did this happen? 500 bits from Colin 4501. 500 bits from Vinny, who says, hi P train, bird beep beep chirp. We need a special bird train that goes chirp chirp.
Do we?
No. No. Need is a strong word,
Yeah.
and we flippantly use it around here. 300 bits from Colin, who says, hype clown. Do like that type of clown. 500 bits from Bertidius Badoof, who just says, birdie. We got 500 bits from Anorak, who says, man, I would love to give my biggest life stressor the bird. I love when church can't align with the vibe when it causes issues. Good vibes, please. Good vibes. I wish you vibes. I wish there was less stress for everyone, just in a general sense, no matter what specifically your stress is. Wish I had less stress. Although I think I'm working towards it.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Trying. And again, yesterday helped. Mm-hmm. I've been drinking my coffee. Hold on. Sorry. I'm drinking my coffee, and I'm realizing that if I don't put a ginger snap in it, I'm not going to have any coffee to get on the ginger snap. All right.
Can I talk about the update for next week? That you said you got? And I was like, how come I have the account and I didn't get that update? Next Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Steven got a message from IKEA saying that our furniture would be on time next week. It's not here yet.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I mean, we'll see what happens, right? But I'm hopeful. That would be good. That'd be really good. I would enjoy it if we could get our stuff on the day that it was said that we would get it, and not maybe a few days later. Wait, maybe a week later. Wait, maybe a few more days. Oh, it's been 2 weeks. I don't know. That's not really great. Yeah, they do still have time to mess it up. We're hopeful that they won't, but they could. They could. 300 bits from Radio Dread says the hype train is here. The clown has boarded. It's me honking my clown nose. 500 bits from DC Racer says, "Give me my wizard assigned burb." I did pretty good.
You did.
That was pretty good. That was pretty close. Full Metal Grizz gifted sub to JMac14. 500 bits from Squid says, "I love birds except when they wake me up at 5 a.m. because they're too loud right outside my window. Then I hate them."
I had a window box growing up, like for flowers.
Yeah.
And every summer a mourning dove would nest in there. And they're the woo 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 kind of cry.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same. Generally, in a general sense, I mean, you don't want anything to interrupt your sleep. The worst bird experience I ever had was when I lived in Savannah, and at 5:30 in the morning, a train would go by, which is not a bird, but that's my worst bird experience.
I see.
The train is the worst type of bird. It would shake the entire building, and also it was loud. So yeah, not a bird, but the same principle applies. Yeah. 500 bits from Minecrafting Live says, "Is Peggy a type of bird? She has a wing."
Bird, horror.
Peggy
One or the other.
Peggy could count as a bird. We'll say that that's officially an idea submission to Chaz. 300 bits from Gabriel says, "So I lost the cornhole tournament at work on Tuesday, which is what I wanted. So thanks to the good vibe." You wanted to lose at cornhole? I'm glad you got your wish. Generally, if I'm in a tournament for something, I want to win.
Yeah.
Although I guess to a certain extent, there's part of me that doesn't care. Like, it's not like life or death for me if I'm in a tournament or something. But if generally want to. Oh, Caber says I got roped into playing that I didn't want to play in. That's fair. Completely fair. I think back to whenever we were in the pizza eating tournament with Chaz and Jeff. And, it's the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter if we win. We got free pizza. But, I was trying to make some progress there. We got 41 months from Waste and Aeon. 500 bits from Storm002 says, "More birds." 500 from Tricky Anthony says, "Are penguins a bird option? Asking since they're my favorite animal." I don't know.
I have not seen the bird list.
I haven't either. I don't even have the bird list. So it is a possibility, maybe. Birds and penguins and ostriches are birds. So who knows? Chaz just smiles, so who knows? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. That's true. Yeah, Master Link says there was a puffin. There was a puffin. I saw a puffin. 300 bits from Wason, who says, "When walking home from work today, I saw 2 crows and a seagull fighting for a McDonald's fry. Safe to say, I was pretty amused." They do like French fries. I can recall times being on the beach and a huge flock of seagulls with the haircuts and everything. I mean, would really be after anyone who dared to give them like a French fry. Because people will go and they'll get stuff. They'll go through like a fast food place and then they'll go down to the beach and sit and basically picnic. And if you have a a French fry and you're giving things to the birds, like they're not going to leave you alone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Don't do it. For many reasons.
I mean, you can do it.
No. Don't.
You can do it. It's not illegal.
My college had an ordinance, or the city did, about worrying the squirrels. We had a lot of squirrels on campus,
With like blood pressure problems.
and you weren't like allowed to harass them, or
I mean, in general, you shouldn't harass squirrels.
they had like an ordinance. You could get fined.
I mean, like, I don't. If someone was harassing us, I don't know what squirrel harassment looks like. But you know, if someone was messing with squirrels like that, you know, you should leave the squirrels alone. Also, squirrels can bite you. It's not impossible. They generally aren't aggressive, but like, if you were pissing off a squirrel, it has every right to bite you. High cholesterol, as we know, is the leading cause of skull down. 301 bits from Aggressive Alpaca says, would it be possible for the VODs for completed playthroughs to be put into one mega video? YouTube won't play them back to back. I suffer from nyctophobia and the videos help me sleep. So you mean like taking every episode of like Twilight Princess and making one Twilight Princess video? If that's what you mean, no. No. But you can open a playlist. If you open a playlist, it should work. Because like, I know you say YouTube won't play them back to back. It definitely does. Like if
If you open the playlist, it does.
yeah, if you open a playlist, it does that. If it's not working, it's a problem on your end with like your browser. So maybe try a different browser. But that's the intended use of a playlist. Is like you have to go to the playlist itself and then pick a video from it. But as soon as you do that, it'll stay within that playlist and like go through it. Yeah. So that should work. I've tried to be thorough in making sure everything is in playlist, but if it's not,
Fulfill your deepest desires with tiny of these pterodactyl bars.
straightforward. We take
What's
the
the
pterodactyls, we put them in the bars. It's 1,000 bits from Sudabite. Hey Eddie, there's a lot of spare birds around here all of a sudden. Got any ideas on what to do with them? I love how this then insinuates that Sudabite lives somewhere where there's pterodactyls. That's the spare birds around.
Lots of pterodactyls.
Eddie, there's a bunch of birds around here. Did I mention they're pterodactyls? They are pterodactyls. And Tiny is like, well, what if we just take them and we put them in a bar? Yeah, that's the most interesting part of this alert is the fact that Sudabite lives near a place where there's pterodactyls.
When I was in high
I'm a
school,
little jealous.
the building sat on a ravine,
Yeah.
and you could kind of see out over the trees, and there was a bunch of herons or something that had built this big nest.
Yeah.
Maybe they were ospreys, I can't remember. But I had a teacher who didn't know what they were, and so she started calling them pterodactyls.
Oh. Okay. That's not what they're called.
No.
You know, everyone's got to have a name for something. Sometimes those names are wrong, and sometimes you just, do it forever. That becomes your new name for things. Papa de Britzamaldo says, "Come on, Moltrace. I know you're out there." There is a flaming bird in there. I don't know what. I guess the concept of like a phoenix is a bird, not something we typically see unless a bird flies through like a pyrotechnic show, which generally doesn't end well for the bird. 500 Bits from Paradigm says, "It's my birthday."
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Trying to get the birthday bird. It's the same thing with Pokemon, right? When we do the Pokemon streams, people want to know what their Pokemon is. Now people can check their bird on Breakfast Stream. 300 Bits from Reload who says, so there are between 50 billion and 430 billion birds in the world. Have fun. But how many species of birds? 62. That's it. 62. Because people probably wanted to know, like, how many is there? And that's 62. That's how many there is.
I'm going back to bed.
Just close your eyes. And you're there. You're done. Vagabond says only one. They just have different costumes. You know, I've definitely seen a bird getting out of a tiny bird suit. So it's not impossible. 500 bits from 4Wolf says, silly chat, birds aren't real. I've also heard, I may know someone who genuinely thinks that. I'm not sure. Amehari gives 2 subs to Kinneray and 808 Bucket. We got 500 bits from Vinny G Plays that says, well, final bird for a little while, because I have hit my limit. Goodbye, little bird. Thank you for gracing our screen. 300 bits from Gold Major says, burb is the verb. Burb. Also shrimp. Remember them? They exist and aren't birds. Or are they? No, they're not. See, shrimp, these little creatures that live in the oceans, in the water. Birds are actually in the air. And typically, it's not the other way around. Usually you don't find seafood in the air unless it's being carried by a bird. Although sometimes you get the birds that go into the water.
And you have the flying fish.
Yeah, that's not real. That's from a Looney Tunes cartoon.
No, they exist.
No, that's not. I've never seen that. They have wings?
Yeah. They have like long...
I'm going back to bed.
Fish jump out of the water too.
Yeah, but they have to. If they don't jump out of the water, then their entire world is just the water. So it's like they jump out to see what's out there. That's, because their lives are so depressing. Because they're under the water, they jump out to get a look and be like, what's going on up here? And then they go back in. I was Googled a picture of like, wow, that's amazing.
They kind of jump and just sail.
Are they the only fish that can do that? Because how crappy for like...
I mean, they don't like fly around like birds. It's kind of just like a big jump.
Why didn't they call them big jump fish?
Because they can get like a few feet in the air.
And they can glide.
A little bit.
How crappy for every other fish in the world. To be like, hey Marv, what you doing? I'm just jumping out and like flying around, man, because I can do that. What about you, Lenny? I'm a shrimp. Marv. So I'm just gonna sit down here and do my shrimp thing. Can shrimp even jump out of the water? Not really. Probably not. Because they just do the little...
Yes.
They're like the bus of the ocean.
They're cleaners.
Yeah, like a cleaning bus. Shrimp are the cleaning bus of the ocean. That's a famous phrase. 500 bits from Paranoid says, good thing I have another 500 to see what my bird actually is. You choose your bird. 500 from Safrina says, bird alert. We're gonna have a high of 98 today, our first day below 100 in over 10 days. Gross. Mm-hmm. Gross. I relate to that a little bit because there have been some days like over 100 here, but not 10 in a row. 10 in a row, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like to a certain degree, no pun intended, after a point, I don't know that you know this so much.
Between like 90 and 100.
Yeah, like the difference in temperature and how it feels between like 95 and like 105. Like at a certain point, you're just like, it's just hot.
Yeah.
So. And it is just hot. We got 26 months at Tier 2 Gold Toast for PYM181. 45 months from Sephiroth 45 months also from Ultra Husk. 300 bits from Item Crafting Live says IKEA furniture first 20. So the stuff gets delivered next
Give
Friday.
me the bird.
Hopefully. I don't think we'll do a stream of us doing anything with the furniture. Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't want to like promise that. We'll probably just put that together on our own. But we definitely will stream next Friday. It probably won't be IKEA. It'll be like a video game. It'll probably, hopefully, be Pokemon because Pokemon has been. We've been streaming
Give me
Pokemon
the bird.
for 7 months.
Uh-huh.
So there is definitely, it's like, okay, we should probably wrap that up. Because we're about to go into month 8 of Pokemon Let's Go. So we probably want to finish that up.
Finish that.
Finish that up. Let's see. 300 bits from Char Hutch, who says, when I was in Venice, and I believe it was St. Peter's Square, they were very strict about not feeding the pigeons. And a friend from the tour group had a slice of pizza ripped out of her hand by a pigeon. Wow.
Give me
Yeah,
the bird.
that's an aggressive bird. But also, I mean, that gives some context about why they would say not to feed the pigeons,
Yeah.
because it's been done enough in the past that the birds will just take your food from you. Violent flying rat. I've never seen anything quite like that. Like that would be extreme. Can you imagine sitting there and you have a slice of pizza and a pigeon's just like that aggressively like because like if your food gets knocked out of your hand, you're done.
Yeah.
Open season for animals, which are like, oh, we don't care. There's no 5-second rule to us. But as soon as you drop a pizza on the ground, you're done, and that's sad. I bet pizza in Venice is not the cheapest thing. We got 500 bits from Shy who says, have you seen the short fan film Legend, a Dragon Ball tale that's been making the rounds the past 2 weeks? It's a true labor of love and, in my humble opinion, an absolute must-see for any Dragon Ball fan. I saw that it exists. I didn't see it. Mao and I did, however, watch Mega 64's
Dragon Ball.
Majin Buu saga
Yeah.
recreation, and that was worthwhile. I think it's like 5 to 8 minutes long. It was worthwhile, I think. It's the thing that I appreciated about that video the most is that it's actually very well shot, but it's well shot, but still done with the mindset of like, we want this to look like amateurish.
Yeah.
So it's intentionally shot amateurish with equipment and techniques that are not amateurish, and I think that's a very fascinating thing to do. So I liked it. 300 bits from Gold Major says, Stephen, there is more in the water room than there is on land room. We're the ones who are sad and depressed because we have less space to roam while being able to breathe normally than shrimp. Disagree. I would rather be on land than in the water. I've been in the water. I looked down there once,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't that impressed. Like up here on land, we got like buildings. This is where the Nintendos are. You can go to a place and get a taco. I don't know. Between the and also if you go in the water, you just drown. So like, you know, between the two, personally for me, I'm probably gonna stick to on land. We get 500 bits from Sudabite, who says pterodactyls live all over the place in Canada, but there's so many around here. They were named after our local sports team, or we named our local sports team after them. The Ottawa Pterodactyls play the Seattle Mudcrabs on Saturday, I think. You know, if I was going to believe that pterodactyls were still around, I think Canada would be my guess. And like, Canadians just wouldn't make a big deal out of it. They're like, oh yeah, hey dude, yeah, we got them flying up here. Yep, we just leave them alone. You can't feed them. They'll aggressively steal your pizza. 500 bits and Dual Braids, who says, all this bird talk reminds me of the sign I saw driving in Birmingham. White area over a black background reading, birds aren't real. I almost crashed from laughing. You know, when I see a sign like that, my first thought is someone paid for that. Like someone took money and had that put up, either in some serious fashion or a joke, and
Coffee.
there's worse ways to spend money, I guess. You know, it could be worthwhile. We get 5 with some shy. It says shrimp can't fly, but some can punch you at Mach 1. Yeah, we've learned about that before. There's actually videos online of people getting punched by shrimp, which is a weird phrase to say, but it's true. 300 from Kid Shadow says, I remember when I was little, I was chased by a flock of pigeons downtown for my bucket of popcorn. I had to drop it and run. They swarmed the popcorn. Sounds like something out of a horror film. Actually, we were talking yesterday with my parents, and I had some family in town in Myrtle Beach, which is the reason we went back. And my parents, my extended family had went to Broadway at the Beach, which is a big outdoor shopping center. My parents actually brought up the time that Emil had bought a bucket and filled the bucket with the quarter fish food and then poured it all in at once. And it was fun to relive that, because that was easily one of my favorite things I've witnessed. And it was fun, and there's a deep-seated part of me that's like, I would love to do that again. The fish enjoyed it. The fish loved it. 3D Bits from Gold Major says, a bird stole my human suit for themselves, and now I need to hide before one of you find me. A very revealing fact about you, to be honest. I'd be careful letting that get around. 42 months from Kazuyumi. 300 Bits from Gamer Girl Life says, when I went to Seattle to see my cousin, I went to Seattle to see my cousin a couple years ago, we had fish and chips. They came over and ripped a piece of fish out of my hand.
That's why you don't feed the birds, because then they start doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I agree with you, but what do you do when, prior to you being ever there, the birds have been fed and now they're aggressive? Do you defend? Is it ethical to defend your food from a bird?
Don't eat outside.
That's the solution?
Know.
Like, I don't know. I mean, you know, you make yourself a little fortress. If Vagabond says you punch a bird, that's what, you know, like, I don't want to hurt birds. Satsy is a good answer. Yes-ish. Like, you don't want to hurt a bird, but also, like,
It's your food.
Punch softly. Like, as a general rule, I feel like the idea of hurting an animal is cruel in almost all forms. But also, like, you know, if you got a bird that's like, he's up in your grill, he's going to take your food. I'm like, at bare minimum, there's going to be like some like, you know, and like I don't think that would hurt the bird. But like, would I punch a bird? I don't know how I would like full force punch a bird, but it'd be like, and maybe some loud noises. Oh my God, do birds respond to clickers like for the dogs and the cats?
Like whistles?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
Can you carry like a whistle around for birds? Is there a bird whistle? They do not understand the concept of a peace offering. They need to learn the hard way. Renee says, I bet they would respond to an air horn. Can you imagine eating outside of the restaurant, whole group of people around, and a bird lands on your table, so you just get an air horn. Everyone in like a 20-foot radius just pisses themselves because no one's expecting an air horn.
Brandon, you're on a list.
I didn't see what Brandon wrote, but now I don't want to scroll up because instead I just want to live with that information. It's fine. 300 bits from Noir Kid, it just says, clown energy. Thanks. And 46 months from Micro X Roses. So anyway, I got through alerts. Let me tell you what happened yesterday and why it was such a good day for the soul. It was definitely going to be a good day for my soul. It was also good for Mal's. Mal really enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was in town yesterday in Myrtle Beach. Haven't seen my grandmother in a while, and Mal and I made the journey back. We went yesterday afternoon, and we actually took care of quite a few things that we needed to do back in Myrtle Beach. So we went back to see her, but then also we had a few little errands that needed to be done back home. So we took care of all that stuff, and then my aunt and uncle and one of my cousins were also in town, and they were kind of doing like the touristy thing. So my grandmother came down with them, and
She's done that before.
yeah, that's a very common thing. So like, you know, because they want to see Myrtle Beach, so they go and do Myrtle Beach stuff, and then they drop my grandma off at my parents' house so she can just spend time like with her son, with my dad. So you know, we ultimately did have dinner with everyone last night, but before that, we actually got to go over to my parents' house and just sit with my dad and my grandma for a few hours, and it was a really great experience. But something that I've been wanting to do for a long time and finally actually did a little of yesterday was, you know, when we got there, I said, I would really like to record some stories. I'd really like to, you know, ask some questions and record some stories and just get some interesting information, because, you know, the thing is, no one is guaranteed tomorrow. You know, like anyone can die at any time, and you know, certainly there's like I guess an ever increasing sense of urgency if you're dealing with someone who's a little bit older. Not that my grandma isn't failing health or anything, but she is going to be turning, I think, 83 this year, so she's a little bit older. But, you know, anyone can go at any time. So, like, getting this sort of information and having these stories is good. Not only to have them on video, so you have them, but then also, and I found this out yesterday in such a big way, when you ask someone to start talking about stuff, they start recalling things that they haven't recalled. And if you have two people who are having like two different versions of the same story talk, they learn things. And that was fascinating. So the way I did this is I had my grandmother and my dad on the couch, and I didn't have all my equipment. I was hoping that I could have taken my FX3, but I didn't take it because we had to bring stuff back yesterday, and it's in a big, you know, Pelican case now, and I didn't want to take that.
It would take up room in the car.
It would take up room in the car. So I just used my phone, and I'm actually very impressed at the audio and visual quality that came out of it. I have a little tiny tripod, and I set that up, and I had to turn the AC off in the house because their AC is really loud. But I just let them talk for a while, and me and Mal would ask them, you know, kind of like questions to get them talking about certain things, and we actually recorded quite a bit. Not all of it will make it to the vlog, but I will keep all of it, and then I'll take it and I'll trim it down a little bit and make it into something that I can present. And I think it'll be very interesting for folks because, you know, my grandmother being as old as she is, has lived through a lot of different things. Like one of the things I found interesting is, like, you know, she didn't get electricity in her house until she was 12. So like the first 12 years of her life, there was just no electricity. My grandmother, by association with my dad also, like, grew up very poor, and that it's one of those things that, like, poor and rich and finances in general is all extremely relative, because poor to one person is not poor to another. But like hearing about the specifics of their life it was like, nah, this is poor. This is like capital P poor. But it was really interesting. One of the things that I got them to talk about, which is a story that I've always been told, was when my dad got hit by a car when he was 10. He got hit by a car when he was 10, and he was in a coma for 2 weeks and all this stuff. So, like, he had
In the hospital for a month.
He was in the hospital for a month. So, like, all this stuff happened. My dad has always told me that story, and I've gotten, like, I guess almost like the quick version of the story over the years a few different times from him. It was so interesting to first, I mean, have him sit down and talk kind of in detail about the whole thing.
What he remembers.
And then have my grandma talk about, like, her side of it, right? Because the story ends a little bit when Dad gets hit, you know, then he's out. So to hear her tell it, and for her to talk about everything, and to see her, there was just so much emotion, you know, she was crying, and it was because, even though this has been over 50 years ago, I mean, it's like, there's still so much emotion from, like, thinking back to how that was, and how, you know, because the doctors said that my dad wouldn't live, and that if he lived, he would be a vegetable. Like, it was a situation where it felt very hopeless for everyone, and for him to have come out of it intact definitely made everyone happier. It also surprised the doctors.
Yeah.
So
and it was a small town. Everyone knew everyone, and
yeah, it was also just, it was interesting because there were some details I hadn't known before. It took place on the 4th of July.
And the only reason there was an ambulance nearby was because of the 4th of July parade.
Yeah, like, the only reason my dad survived, because he needed immediate medical attention.
And there wouldn't have been.
And there wouldn't have been, because they lived in such a small town that it would have taken at least half an hour or more for, like, an ambulance to have gotten there. But an ambulance got there immediately because there was one in town for a parade. Like, it's all this, like, really weird stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad has a younger brother who's 8 years younger. And I hate to tell all this because it's going to be on the vlog and you'll hear them talk about it. But it was just really interesting to me. My dad said that he had been... he was riding his bike, and he would always put his little brother, who... My dad was 10, so his brother would have been 2. He had him on the bike with him, and he would ride him around, so he would, you know, feel like he was getting a chance to ride around. And he said that he had been riding around with his little brother, and then he went back to the house and put him down, and said that he was going to, like, do one more pass around the driveway or whatever, and, like, that's when he got hit. And if he would have still had his little brother, his little brother would have been dead, because there's no way a 2-year-old would have survived that. He said he got hit because grandma told me some of this stuff, which is really interesting. Like, when he got hit, he had tennis shoes on that were laced up, and, like, he got hit so hard that, like, one of his shoes, like, came off, because the car was probably going at, like, 40 or something miles per hour. So yeah, it was interesting, because that's a story I've heard multiple times. So to hear it at length, a very extended version, and to have 2 different people telling different things is really cool. But also throughout yesterday, when I was recording a bunch of this stuff, it was interesting for someone to start talking, and then the other person to say, "I didn't know that." Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Like a mother and son being able to hear little bits and details and things of things that are new is just really incredible. So, yeah. London Bridge is playing.
Christine says, "Who goes that fast in a neighborhood?" Well, it was country roads.
Yeah, it wasn't a neighborhood.
Yeah, it was country roads back in the 50s.
Thanks, London Bridge.
Jem says, "Did they find out who hit him, or does the story go into it?"
Yeah, they knew who. I mean, they didn't, like, know the person, but then they met him.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. So my dad, at the time of getting hit, it was summer, so he was between 5th and 6th grade, and
or was that the 60s?
So he was going into 6th grade, and the person that drove the ambulance ended up being his 6th grade teacher, which was just another weird thing. And I was like, that's really wild. And he said like he always felt like he had a really, really strong bond with, because he was going into 6th grade. So he said he always felt like he had a really like strong bond in 6th grade with his teacher, because that was the person that drove the ambulance. Kacho says, it was that small of a town? Yeah, little town. And like size of town is also something that's very relative too, right?
Yeah.
So your scope is very different. My scope for size of towns has changed immensely. I always felt like, I've been to big cities, and my idea of like what a big city is like, okay, I know what a big city is. I've been to LA, I've been to New York, I've been to Tokyo, which is
Shanghai, Beijing.
Yeah, I've been to these places. What's the place? Chongqing.
Yeah.
Like I've been to these places that are insane, and I have a basis of that. But on a smaller scale, I always felt like Myrtle Beach had stuff. I knew it was a beach town, and I know that the scope of it was. It was not anything close to Tokyo. I understood that, but like my scope for something that seemed livable was changed from now living in Raleigh, because there's so much stuff here. And my extended family who was in town yesterday, their scope is extremely different too, right? Because they are coming from small West Virginia, small Maryland town. So to them, Myrtle Beach is huge. Myrtle Beach does have literally everything. So it's all relative.
Like where they live, or at least where your grandma lives, like there's no fast food.
Yeah.
Like there's a gas station.
There is a stoplight.
I don't even think it's a full.
It might just be a flashing red light.
I think it's a flashing red light.
Yeah. Yeah, tiny places.
Yeah.
Tiny places. But also, it's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat. I like that people's experiences on this earth just really run the gamut.
Yeah.
Like when you talk to someone, their life experiences are going to be completely different than yours based on like a variety of factors. Mm-hmm. And that's why sometimes it might be hard for people to relate. If someone grew up in downtown New York City, if that was their experience, they may have a hard time relating to someone who grew up in like rural West Virginia. It's going to be difficult. But also, we have to strive to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Let's see. 100 bits from Air-3K. Thank you. And I hope everyone enjoyed that. I mean, it's gonna the downside of doing something like that, right, is that it's gonna take a while to cut it down. I'm gonna try and be quick about it, and allow things to go a little longer, because it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if it's you release a vlog and it's a little bit longer, like, mm-hmm. That's fine. I don't know how much of it'll stay in. I don't know how much of it I'll cut out or whatever. But like, I think that folks will enjoy getting a chance to hear some of these stories. Geisha beans. Anyway, yeah, we're still a ways out from that, because I know that vlogs have been sporadic, and it is hard too, right? Because like,
we took a few days to set up this room and my room, and we went out and did some shopping on one day.
Yeah, and then it's hard for on the days that I'm going back to Myrtle Beach. It is absolutely incredible how tired I am when I get into bed that night. I mean, I very rarely feel that tired, because you got to wake up early.
Yeah.
We usually get up pretty early, and then you're driving, which is a kind of a mental exhaustion, and then you do stuff there, and especially when it's been hot, if you're outside, that takes it out of you too, and then you come back, and by the time you get home, you're just you're exhausted. I know Jan was asking about seeing Raleigh on the blog more. There's actually a fair bit of that coming.
Yeah.
Not so much that we're going out sightseeing, but we try. I mean, the thing that's always been of interest to us is food, right? So we've been trying a lot of places, and I'm excited for.
Which brings it back to the differences between Raleigh and Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Did we ever talk about the banh mi place on Tuesday?
Maybe.
Or is
no,
Tuesday
we didn't
when
talk
we
about
ate it?
that. We
I don't
talked
remember.
about the Korean Chipotle place, I think. I don't think we talked about the banh mi place.
So one of the places that Raleigh's really big. There's a lot of culture. There's a lot of people from different walks of life here, and they've brought their food along with them, which is great. And Mao found this place that is a Vietnamese place, banh mi place, and
I love banh mi's, but there wasn't a place in Myrtle Beach that had them.
it's a local place, like a little hole-in-the-wall place, and it's the only. It's not a chain. It's not even a local chain within Raleigh. It's just the one place, and they have a lunch special, which is a full-size banh mi. If you don't know what the banh mi is, it's a Vietnamese sandwich that has generally pork.
It's like a combination of like Europe food and Vietnamese. Pickled daikon, carrots,
jalapenos,
cilantro.
generally like some sort of like a spicy
Sauce or something.
Sauce.
Yeah. And it's on a baguette.
Anyway, it's very good. It's very good if you've never had one. So you get a banh mi, a side of French fries, and a bubble tea for $9.99, and it's like that's an insanely good deal. That's a really, really good lunch special. So for $10, you're very full, and getting a bubble tea with that, I was like, holy crap, that's really good. There's places that a bubble tea is like $5. So to be able to get a bubble tea and a side of fries and a sandwich for $10, I'm like, that's a good lunch. That's a real good lunch. So yeah, there's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of us. There's so many new things to eat around here that that's been the most exciting thing for me. It's like, if we know we're going to go out, we're going to do shopping or something that day, we have to go pick some stuff up. It's like, okay, well, let's get lunch somewhere and try something new. And that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So that stuff's coming to the blog. So I'm working on it, very slowly getting my way out of June. So I can't imagine a boba place costing $9.99 for just the boba. That's wild. But also, cost differences in the U.S. are wildly different depending on where you are. Things cost different amounts of money. So I sort of get it, but also, Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Faucet's example. That's a USD CAD exchange. We get 12 months from UZ. Congrats on one. And 46 months from Existential Joker. Thank you. Okay, we should probably start wrapping up. What's what?
Tomorrow you are streaming Live Alive.
Yeah,
In
tomorrow
the afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon. Probably gonna aim for like 2 p.m. Eastern. But it's not completely in my control, so it's up in the air.
Tomorrow night is Pokemon. Let's go.
I need to.
Set up.
Yeah, I need to get another monitor in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I need our switches
Yeah.
in here. I gotta put our hook up our switches. Yeah, I can do all that. And today, I think today is a Sky... Actually, I don't have it uploaded because I got home late and fell asleep. Today's LP video is another Skyrim. It's the first time ever we've released 2 Skyrim in a week. So there's another Skyrim coming out today. Dan got a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah. And now he's on vacation.
He is. He's actually been on vacation for about a week, which is good.
I'm painting, so that's me.
I'm also grateful that you're...
I'm able to start painting now.
Yeah, I'm grateful that your studio's set up and things are good, and Mal can actually get to doing that, so that's good. Live will be happening here. I don't have stuff set up in my office to do it, so I don't know that anything will be happening in my office for a little bit, just because since everything is here.
This is more set up than the office.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here on the couch, trying out this game. I'm excited about it because I know it's a cult classic. It's extremely good. I've just never played it. And that's it.
That's it.
Lord willing, I'll try and get a vlog out today, but also I'm doing my best. I am doing my best. Spiritu Massive, we know what's replacing Let's Go. To be honest with you, I don't. I have some things that I have in mind, but I don't. I will tell you that at least for the short term, it seems likely that we will do some shorter games. Like because Let's Go has taken 7 or 8. By the time we're done, like maybe 9 months, we won't jump into another
long one.
Yeah, we'll do some short stuff
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's it. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. I sincerely hope you have a good Thursday and stay cool to the best of your ability. And we will, of course, be back tomorrow night. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night for Pokemon, and I will be back tomorrow afternoon for Live. Also, Christine gifted a sub to Chuyman2525. Thank you. Appreciate it.